Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, strategies, and insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today, I'm very lucky to be joined by Roberto Martinez of Braven. How's it going, Roberto?
Very excited to be here. Very excited to talk to you, Shiv.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on. And Roberto, just to start this off, I'd love to understand a little bit more about you and your background and a little bit more about Braven Agency.
Yeah, happy to chat a little bit about what I do. I started up in government, trying to help our communities grow and scale through foreign direct investment. Realized government is not the way. Very hard lessons to learn. I pivoted into working with big Fortune 500 companies after business school. Didn't really have the impact I wanted to have. I realized that those larger companies don't really need a community focused individual. So I came back to the States from New York, came back to LA, and launched an agency that's really focused on helping scale small and medium sized businesses using technology and digital marketing.
That's awesome. Cool. And what's really interesting is that we have a very similar story in terms of you mentioned that your parents actually inspired you to start Brave and you come from a family business and everything like that. And you wanted to help your family. Same thing. My family has a variety of businesses, the biggest one being a family restaurant. And of course, you grow up in the family business and you are free labor lots of times. So,
Right.
like you got to go help out at the restaurant or you got to help out at the business because they're free. And but then you start to get your own ideas. Being a person that has grown up in this digital age and stuff and helping out parents who didn't grow up in this digital age. I'm curious, how did their challenges navigating the digital world shape your agency's mission?
So, Shiv, I love the question. And I appreciate the fact that you grew up waking up at 5 to help open the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what happened was the digital revolution occurred. And I saw big companies being able to pivot and do digital transformation. And I saw companies like my parents' company, restaurants, cleaning companies, even real estate companies. Some of my family members are in real estate. Most of us are based out here in California. They didn't know how to leverage these tools and they were getting left behind. And so when I left New York, that's really the coming to Jesus moment where I'm like, hey, these folks need someone that can walk them through how to transition through that digital transformative revolution that was occurring right around 2008, 2010. And so that's how I got my aha moment. Let me help folks like my parents or folks who aren't as well tuned into e-commerce, digital marketing, and technology. And from there, I hit the ground running. Now, I will say my consulting friends, my advisors were yelling at me, like, what are you doing? You could charge $1,000 an hour working for an Uber versus your mom and pop shop. Can't really pay that. And it's one of those fill the dream moments where if you build it, they will come. And they did come. Companies like Google came, companies like actually TikTok recently, Amazon, and they said, hey, we love the fact that you're focusing on small business. Work with us to reach those small businesses, and we will pay for that digital transformation, which changed my agency.
That's really interesting. And I love that you said that you build it and they will come because I think that's a big thing that our parents' generation really believes. They don't, a lot of times they don't believe in marketing. They're like, if we just, like in my case, we're just going to make really good food and then people will come and it works for sure. But you have to be able to talk to people where they are, where they live online. So did you have any challenges like trying to get not just your parents, but other people who are like your parents to overcome that thing? Hey, you guys need to move to digital. I know that you think that people are going to come and they will, but we can 10x your results if we just put a friggin' ad online.
Yeah, no, I love that. As well as I do that, family members do not listen.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh
Like,
my
they're like,
God.
I've been doing this my whole life. What are you going to tell me? Go back to your school. And so I get that. I tell the story of a very famous movie when I was growing up called The Last King of Scotland. I don't know if you've seen that movie or not.
Mm.
It's a great movie about African dictator and a doctor from Scotland. And the doctor becomes an advisor to this dictator. And in one of the scenes, he tells the dictator, do not kick out all the foreign immigrants. They provide a lot of intellectual value and bring a lot of capital. And the dictator doesn't listen. And one of the key scenes after he kicks out and the economy drops in that specific country, the dictator grabs the Scottish doctor and says, "Why didn't you stop me?" And the Scottish doctor said, "I did. I tried to tell you." And then the dictator says, "But you didn't convince me." And so it's that piece of convincing them and leading without authority and showing them and starting with low hanging fruit that builds traction. I think as marketers, we know what we want to build. As a small business owner, you're working in the business, not on the business. And so you got to play in those margins before you go after those transformative technological tools that are going to really 10x their business. And that's what we learned. We have to prove concept right away, be nimble and agile, identify their pain points, and it's storytelling 101. We're going to take your pain point and we're going to restructure that story in a way that makes sense to you and your lens and the way you interpret the world that you're living in.
Wow, I love that approach.
Yeah.
And you've scaled that now, right? You now Braven focuses on scaling businesses that have already hit that 500,000 to $1 million in revenue. And I'm curious, why is that stage such a critical inflection point, and how do
Yeah.
you approach growth differently for these clients?
Yeah, crossing the chasm. I think you said something really key is meeting them where they're at, not where you want them to be. And so usually the first 2 years, and what we call in business school Death Valley, where most businesses fail in the first 2 year. So there's definitely an inverted J curve going on there. But what ends up happening is they start realizing they need processes and procedures, and operations takes more of a focus during that transitional period. So they go from living day to having a longer time horizon. And what that means is they could take a little bit more risk to invest into operations, HR, to stabilize the business. And that's extremely important, getting the business to be at a point where they can invest from day to day short term gains to medium to long term gains, and being able to draw that strategic blueprint where they know, okay, we're making money now, and you have enough of a runway to take some strategic bets on how you're going to increase that revenue
Yeah.
so that you can keep taking those strategic bets to medium and long term. Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. And it's one of the things too where you have to show people that like, hey, you're at this point and we can invest this money into marketing. And I think it's the biggest hump that people in that generation need to understand is that it's marketing is an investment, and it's the only investment out there that where you can put in $1 and get five, six, $10 back in return. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't do that in the stock market. You can maybe do that in real estate, but it would take years. You know what I mean? But you can put in $1 into marketing, like into Facebook ads, and with a company or an agency like yours that can really do a good job of creating some good ROI into that. Very quickly, you could see that money turn into a lot. So seeing it as an investment rather than a cost, which was always a battle with my parents, you know what I mean? Hey, marketing's
Well,
an investment.
no, and you know that I think one of the things that makes it really easy for us in the digital space is to be able to draw a direct line between paid ads, digital marketing investment, and results, because that's the essence of marketing analytics. You can tell, hey, we invested X amount of dollars into paid ads, SEO, email marketing, and this is a direct effect that had on your bottom line and what your ROI is, what your customer acquisition cost is. You start using these terms. You don't have to use those terms with those
Yeah.
individuals, but they start understanding, oh, okay, so if I put $100 and my customer costs me $25 to acquire, and the lifetime value of my customer is a year, and the average, so they start thinking differently, and then their eyes blow up, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to give you $1,000 or $5,000, and they get very excited, and that gets me very excited because they started to see the bigger play here. And you're completely right about the gains available to you once you start finding your niche. Not that I'm a big fan of Bezos, but he was really instrumental in helping me understand the disproportionate amount of success you have in business. You can really hit a niche and grow exponentially if you find that niche. And anything else, there's a truncated amount of success you have. Like in baseball, the most points you can make or runs you can make is 4 runs. But in business, the sky's the limit. You could go and do 3x, 5x. And that's what we want to see for our small business owners.
That's awesome. And I love that approach. And so, what market trends right now are you most excited about? And which ones do you think people are overhyping?
It's very black and white to me. It's literally what we're doing within our agencies. We're trying to get ahead of the curve. You always want to see over the horizon and make the strategic bets. Like follow what I preach. And so for us, we're pivoting more into a media company. We understand content is king. Gary Vaynerchuk was always right back in 2005, 2007.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed. It's just more fuel in the fire with all these AI tools. So what I'm seeing is a ton of investment into creative spaces, especially on the video content creation side. User generated content is going to continue
Yeah.
to be king. That's going to be huge for any business that wants to continue to monetize, create content, because in essence, it's a referral system. Third party customers are referring out your company
Mhm.
using content. And then the third big transformative change that's going to happen, that's going to disrupt all our sectors, all white collar services, is agents, AI agents. I am nervously optimistic, but I think in 2 years, it's going to be night and day. You
Yeah.
won't even recognize the marketplace anymore. So I think those are huge trends that are going to continue to compound on each other.
Mhm.
And any business that wants to take advantage, should definitely take advantage now and jump on that wave and capture that wave to be able to reach some of those rewards before we go the way of the dinosaur. Trends that I don't see having a lot of shelf life. It's an interesting one. I don't really focus on what's not working, but I'll be open to hearing your take on some trends that you think are overhyped.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're absolutely right, and I think Gary Vee was right back in the day too.
Yeah.
2012, he's been preaching the same thing. I think organic is king right now. You can get to a point where, especially these platforms like TikTok, and where they're like, "Wow, we really want better content on our platform," and so for us to get better content, we're gonna start paying creators. I think that's huge, and I think if you can get to a point where there's these Alex Hormozis of the world where they're getting paid to market. They're getting paid to
Yeah.
promote their products and services. He makes a certain amount of money off of TikTok and YouTube and all of that stuff to where he doesn't have to pay for paid ads because his organic is so good. And that's like a crazy concept. We wouldn't have thought about that in 2011 when Facebook ads came out because that was such a revolutionary thing. And I think that I think it falls into both categories. I think that AI is one of those things where it's really great and it can use a lot of, it's really, you'll be able to use AI for a lot, and you can right now. But I think that people, well, especially small business owners, now that they're adopting things like ChatGPT, they're it's not going to take the place of like real human interaction in a lot
Yeah.
of ways, the nuances of it. I think AI agents and stuff is fantastic. For example, a lead comes into your business, and AI agent I think can really help move that down the line, that lead down the line. But at some point, somebody's still going to need to take that lead over and move it really across the finish line. I think sometimes people have this tendency to look at AI as just, hey, it's going to be able to handle everything for me. Maybe it might in 10, 15, 20 years, whatever, you know what I mean? But right now, I think it's still that there's that, you need the human aspect.
Yeah, no, I think they call that human in the loop, right? So it's this idea that you still need a feedback loop there. I was just talking to our video content creator, and I was telling him we still need your expertise as much as the AI tool is helping you. Shift to your point, our agency is banking on that reality of the human in the loop. We created a new tool called Smarts, which is in essence a business consultant powered by AI. It's like a small business AI consultant. And that AI consulting can scrape all kinds of great data about your industry, your sector, give you recommendations on opportunities to grow your revenue. But there's still a human there that's reviewing all that work and making sure it's the efficacy of those recommendations is very high. And so
Yeah.
you still need that human in the loop. What I will push back on is I think the time horizon is not 10 to 15 years. I think the time horizon is like 2 to 5 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
I'm
that's
a little
true.
bit bullish in that space, but maybe it's because I hear it from I'm a California's Google coach, which
Yeah.
provides free training. So we get trained on these
Mm,
tools, and I'm seeing some of the things that they're rolling out. And it's just
yeah.
it's a lot.
No, and that makes sense too, because if we look at where AI has come from when it came out to now,
Yeah,
even in the short time, few years now that it's been out, it's said like the growth has been insane. So that's,
yeah,
yeah. Wow. Roberto, this is awesome. And I love what you're doing for small businesses and how you guys are incorporating technology and marketing together. Where can people learn more about you? Where can people learn more about Braven?
yeah. Feel free to follow me on my socials. It's Rob the Marketer. You can just type that in, I'll pop up. If you want to follow me on LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn at Rob the Marketer. If you want some free services for folks who are based in California, we partner with Wells Fargo Foundation to provide free services to small businesses across Southern California. feel free to apply to our programs called Digital Communities Program, up to $10,000 in free digital marketing services. And yeah, that's how you can reach me. Looking forward to
Awesome.
connecting with your audience.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much again for being on.
Yeah, appreciate you, Shiv. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.